Hello again everyone, Box Salesman here with a pet witch doctor build. First we'll get into the skills. We use corpse spiders as a primary with leaping spiders. The reason we use this one is because its physical damage is really spammable and it costs no mana. The reason that we use physical damage one is that we try to get some percent physical on the gear because this scales with fetishes, with this spell, and yeah, of course with this one. So we try and use this one. There's also a few weapons that make some of the primaries be much better, like there's a Plague of Toad weapon for Witch Doctor specifically, so if you find one of these, you can of course change your primary spell to something different. Some people like to also use Fire Bats with the Vampire rune, but I don't like this one too much because you need to stand still too much, and I like to speed things up and keep moving. So, then we go into the secondary, Locust Swarm Pestilence. This isn't amazing damage, but it spreads really, really fast, and since we're lacking a huge range AoE, we use Locust Swarm Pestilence. Then there's the cooldowns, Fetish Army Legion of Daggers. As soon as you summon these guys, everything is gonna die within 10 seconds. These guys do serious damage. Then there's the Gargantuan Wrathful Protector. This guy is also amazing, does a lot of damage, but is really stupid. He will always go for the wrong targets. He will sometimes just walk around, so don't count too much on him, but if he is hitting, he will do crazy damage. Then there's a Soul Harvest with Vengeful Spirit. The reason we take this is because we have a lot of cooldown reduction, and you can really spam this quite a lot, and it also buffs your intelligence, which in turn makes your pets hit harder. And it's also a nice amount of AoE damage, 630% on physical damage. So again, scales with the percent physical. Then Spirit Walk, because this breaks crowd control. The tooltip doesn't really say a lot about it. Basically, it just says leave your physical body for 3 seconds. But what actually happens is you break all kinds of crowd control, jailer, frozen, anything, and you move faster for 3 seconds. And you also, you sustain some damage, and then it actually makes you tankier also. It does a lot of stuff. So then we go on to the passive. You Pierce the Veil, more damage and more mana costs, but the mana cost isn't a big problem because we only use Pestilence as a mana spell, so really no problem. Then Grave Injustice, a must for this build. Gain some life and mana, but that's not that much. But here's the big one. Every time you kill an enemy within 20 yards, all your spells reduced by 1 second. So we can use these spells much more because of Grave Injustice. This also scales with pickup radius, which I will talk about later in the gearing part. Then Gruesome Feast. When you pick up health globes, you gain max mana and intelligence. The max mana doesn't do that much, but the intelligence bonus is really huge. It can stack up to 50%, which basically gives you 50% extra damage. Then there's a Fetish Psychopants. These guys are really amazing when your cooldowns are down, because if you spam your left click, then each time you throw it, you have a 5% chance that you summon one of those guys. See, here is one. And they crit for like over 10 million each, and they last for 1 minute, the ones from Fetish Psychopath. See, there's another one. Really amazing to have some of these pop up while you're fighting. Okay, and that's it for the skills. One thing first. As you might have seen, I'm using zombie dogs, but I have no zombie dog skills anywhere. To do this, we use a little trick. We actually take Circle of Life. It's when you kill an enemy that's close to you, you have a chance to summon a zombie dog. And we use this thing, kill a few mobs until we have 3 dogs, and then we change the passive skill back to the right skill. In this case, I changed Gruesome Feast, but it really doesn't matter which one. So, and that's how we get the 3 zombie dogs, and they're really tanky, so you almost never have to like redo the trick to get them back. Maybe like once every 2 hours or something, then one dies, but mostly they stay alive. Okay, let's get into the gearing part then. For the gear, ignore my gear a little bit because this is for big parts recycled from my wizard, so I don't have the exact skills, but the exact stats needed. But I will be talking a bit about what you do need. For a start, there's 3 things that are really good for the build, and at the moment I only have one of them, but it's probably the most important one. The Mask of Jeram. The secondary makes pets deal a lot of more damage. This is actually a low roll. It can roll up to 100%, so it's a really amazing helm. Then another really important item for the build is Tasker and Theo gloves. I don't have these now. I have Mage Fists with Trifecta. Keep in mind, fire skills actually does a bit of damage because the Gargantuan attacks as fire damage, so it's not a wasted stat, but still, Tasker and Theo gives all your pets attack speed bonus and a lot of it, 40 to 50%. So Tasker and Theo, best gloves for this. Then probably the best offhand is Sting of the Deep because of the increased gold and health pickup radius, which scales with this and this. Well, not exactly with this, but you pick up a health globe and gain intelligence, and if you pick up more health globes, it helps a lot to just proc it. Otherwise, you will have to run around all the time to pick them up. And with this, you don't even care about them and you pick them up anyway. And again, for this one, it's really amazing because 20 yards isn't that big actually. But 40 yards, after you get the item, it's 40 yards range. That's already much better, and you will proc the skill on a lot more things. So, and then this one isn't necessary though. There's a lot of other offhands that you can take. But the third really important thing is the 4-set Zunimasas. I don't have it either, but basically what the 4-set Zunimasas does is this fetish army. You see these guys? They only last 20 seconds and they're on a 2-minute cooldown, so that's pretty long. Zunimasas make them last forever, until they die. So then you can just summon them and they will keep fighting for you, and once a few of them died, you just press the skill again and you have them back anyway, so you will have constant uptime of Fetish Army. So 4-piece Zunimasa, really amazing. I guess almost a must for the build is probably the Ring of Royal Grandeur, just so you can get the Zunimasas without using 4 pieces actually. Because one of the pieces is an offhand, which you rather have another offhand for, and another piece is the helm. So again, you really want to use this helm, and then there's only 3 pieces remaining. But if you do need to use the offhand to get the 4-set bonus, it doesn't matter that much, because the 4-set bonus is much more important than this gold pickup radius anyway. So, and then for the other items, Stone of Jordan is amazing with physical damage. Again, physical scale fetish, this one scales, and this one scales on physical. And fetishes will be doing the most damage anyway. So, and also get physical damage on the braces. Ignore this cold damage. I don't even have a single cold spell at the moment. I'm not using any. So just this needs to be physical also. And on the amulet you can also roll physical. As a belt, you probably want Witching Hour just because the build has really good scaling on attack speed. The 3 important damage spells are attack speed, crit damage and crit chance, as most builds. But this build has a bit more focus on attack speed. The reason for this is that the fetishes attack faster with more attack speed. That's logical, of course. But also, when you cast these spells faster, you summon them faster, so they double dip from attack speed. First you summon more of them, and then they do more damage. And now I'm having some bad luck with summoning them, yeah. It's a 5% chance, so you might get terrible luck on summoning them. But still, you just normally play and then they will stack up anyway. Yeah, okay, now the game is trolling me. Come on, 5% chance, nothing? But yeah, whatever, I'm not gonna continue doing this. So then about the gear, Captain Crimson set, really nice, 10% cooldown reduction, and also some resource cost, but that's not important. We have no mana problems anyway. But the cooldown, important. Also, in the helm, you take a cooldown gem, and for the rest, it's really just normal gearing, intellect, vitality, whatever. Try and get some cooldown reduction on some pieces, like this piece, the resource cost should be cooldown reduction. Just try and get the right stuff. And yeah, there's not much about it really. Then, as a weapon, there's really many options. Thunder Fury is always good on almost any build. You can maybe use Shard of Hate because we use a few spell but it's not that good. But if you use a Shard of Hate, you might need to change the spells around a bit. And then there's a few what am I saying? Witch Doctor specific weapons that change your primary spell to be something more effective, more efficient. I mean, so. That's really it. Oh no, the Paragon still. I use movement speed till I'm capped to 25%, so 15 here, 10 from the boots. And then just dump everything into intelligence. Really nice stat, because it also gives all resist. Then in offense, maybe take a bit more attack speed, but I like the crit chance for now. Just to look a bit what you need to take and change it around a bit, look at your tooltip, but keep in mind one thing. Because of the Psychopan synergy, even if attack speed gives you slightly less tooltip DPS than these two, it might still be better. But yeah, you need to just play around with it. Cooldown is probably the least important at the moment of these 4 stats. Not because cooldown is bad, cooldown is really good, just because these 3 are really good also. Then in defense, resist all is pretty amazing to take actually. I don't like the life, simply because you need to heal back more life also. I'm not a big fan of this one, although we do get some percent life-based healing, so it's not that terrible, but still, I prefer to go all resist first and then armor. Live region might be necessary if you go in a party, but I prefer to just get it from the Templar and just heal with by using health globes and stuff. Then in utility, we go area damage, and then you probably need to go life on hit. But because I really don't have any trouble healing, I just went resource cost reduction instead. But this one doesn't do much anyway, so if you have any trouble surviving, just take life on hit instead of the resource cost reduction. Okay, and let's go into a rift now. It's Torment 2, and I already cleared a little bit of it, just so I don't have to show a full rift. Okay, so basically we just cast this thing on an AoE pack, then we use this thing for AoE damage, and then we just spam the spiders to do some damage and proc the fetishes. And when there's an elite pack, we pop both of these, or when you're really close to the rift boss, you try and save the fetish army and just use the Gargantuan on an elite pack. Just so you have the fetish army for sure when the rift boss spawns. Okay, so oh crap, a conduit pylon. I'm not gonna take it because that wouldn't show you anything of the build and I would just get to 100%. So let's just continue. Big enemies are a bit slower though, that's with any build of course. They're pretty annoying. Okay, and a channeling one, which I'm also not gonna take because it gives the wrong view about the build. So we just see the locust swarm is spreading really easily. And we can just run through everything a little bit. And when stuff goes too slow, you just pop your cooldowns and then everything will die. Just start looking at the crits these guys are doing. It's really amazing. They just crit for so much. See, these guys are hitting for insane amounts sometimes. But there was a 40 million crit from the Gargantuan also. But you will mostly see it on the Rift Guardian how effective they are. Again, just popping the AoE and everything. And I'm gonna pop the Gargantuan again. It's only a 1 minute cooldown, and because of the cooldown reduction and the 1 second cooldown also, you get it back really fast. So you can really pop your Gargantuan a lot on trash on anything, but your fetishes, you better save them for the elite packs. Because 2 minutes is a bit too long to constantly have them up. But as you see, I have some fetishes from the Psychopants anyway. Ah, here's an elite. I'm just gonna use the Gargantuan because we're really close to getting the Rift boss. So I want to save them for that. As you saw, I was stunned there. I just popped Spirit Walk and I got out of the stun. And that rear is down. And also, yeah, of course, the Zunimasa set, like I told, will give you constant uptime on the fetishes and it will be much better also, the build. But unfortunately, I haven't gotten a single piece yet of that. Okay, here's the Rift Guardian, we pop our cooldowns, and then we just kill him. Now watch it, it's almost 600 million health. And now it's 0 health, really. That's how fast the single target part goes of this build. And that's also why we take percent area damage, by the way. Because we're lacking a bit of AoE damage, and contrary to what many people believe, this is not something that boosts your AoE spells. This is something that gives every hit a chance to deal extra AoE damage around the place where the damage is taken. So if you hit the monster here, and the area damage procs, 20% chance, then it will hit everything in a circle around the monster for the damage that you have. So in my case, for 50% of the original damage in a circle around the thing that's hit. So if you have like a big pack of monsters bunched up, and you proc area damage on a few of them, then it will just hit each other and really get some nice area damage going. Well, I hope you like this build. There's still a lot of improvement in my gear possible. Tasker and Theo, getting more physical damage, getting the 4-set Zunimasa, so it truly didn't unlock its full potential yet. I hope you like this. I hope you get some lucky gear, because it's pretty gear specific, this build. Well, especially the helm, but you can gamble for that, so don't care that much about it. Just gamble, gamble, gamble until you get it. And as soon as you get the helm, you can really get going. But without the helm, just speed farm. Maybe normal if your gear is really terrible. And if your gear gets a bit better, start farming Torment 1. Because you really want to get Zunimasas, and they only drop in Torment. Okay, I hope you learned something from this build. And bye.